Hey guys, welcome back to Beauty and Darkness. Today I thought we'd do something simpler than the last episode. Basically, we will be painting, but to start out with, we'll be using gessos black, white, and gray. This is what I like to consider a 3-day painting because it's going to take you 3 days to complete it. On the first day, you want to completely cover your canvas in black gesso. Make sure it's completely dry. I did this a few days ago. Tonight I'm going to do part 2, which is I'm going to use black, white, and gray gesso to paint basically a forest. I think the painting that Bob Ross calls it is Golden Rays of Sunshine. And once we let that completely dry, I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to do that tomorrow or the next day. But on day 3 is when you go in and you color it, and then you're done. So without further ado, I'm going to have Bob Ross playing right behind the camera. The last episode it was way over here, and then the camera was over here, and I didn't know which way to look. So I have everything over here, and the painting is right here. So I can just look off to the side here and have my gesso palette, if you will. And I'm just gonna do my thing. Again, I created this series, so if you feel intimidated when painting with Bob Ross, you can paint with me. So we can learn how to do this together and make mistakes and learn from them. Or as Bob Ross likes to say, happy accidents. So here we go. You want to start with a wadded up paper towel. Dab it in the gesso. That just looks weird. Okay. He said dab it off center and work your way outward. Oh. That was cool. Don't get on me now. It got on me. That does look almost like what he's doing. How cool isn't it? Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to turn him up a bit so I can hear him.
Once again, with this gesso, we don't make any mistakes. Because if you paint an area too light, you don't like it. All you have to do is take a little of the dark gesso and go back over it. It's no big deal. There we are. Something about like that. That's all we're looking for a background. Alright. Just the gray here and there, because I want this to be a little darker out on the edges.
He's adding gray now with the same
sunlight in the center, and it's working outward. So just use a little bit of the gray gesso
on the edges.
right over the top. So if you don't like it, if it's too bright or too dull, you can change it that easy. Because this really is your world. Unlimited power. Now normally, if I was at home doing this, I would allow this to dry. It'd take but a few minutes since this is gesso. I'd allow it to dry before I start the next thing. But here we don't have that luxury, so I'll just show you how you go about putting the next layer on. We'll just pretend that it's dry. But when you're doing this yourself, I'd really recommend you allow this stuff to dry completely before you do it. So it's just a little bit easier to do. Now, this takes a very complicated tool. This is called a foam brush. Since it is now with a little disposal, we have a foam brush. Now, where we have the light area, I'm going to use black gesso. Where we have the dark area, white gesso, and gray in the middle. I want to graduate the color.
Okay.
That's all we're doing.
Brush.
Let's start.
I'm going to use a foam brush.
Foam, so
I got this from Noir for like pack of 12.
just something loaded up.
Load it up.
It's a bit about like so. Showcase both sides. We go black on all the wheels. First, and we should here to make our major discard. Where the touch is actually you live out. All you do is more pressure. More as you work.
This should
apply
lighter.
pressure. Pressure.
It got it made it. You know what? I'm gonna do that.
Toward the base.
I'm gonna do that right now.
So that likes it. Put in something about your will. So you just
Or continue. Okay. Backtrack. Continue on. I'm going to add more real quick. Lighter. Cause half of his going to add this is white. So it's his tail. This can contrast. Just you can the white spot or there's here. So my only black one is red. Just in with all the. If I did, I'm going to blend this so into. Dab this in white just so. Bring some down. Again. Bring it down. Just a tad. As I get just everywhere. Oh well. This whole thing's gesso, so it doesn't ruin anything. So if you get gesso like that, it just don't worry about it. So because you're going to be painting up it anyway with more gesso. This is the first time I painted this, by the way. I just watched the video and kind of got an idea. Okay, there we go. Again, I'm just trying to make this side lighter so that when I start painting my trees, there's a contrast and they don't blend, because right now they're going to blend and that's not what I want at all. So we're just going in. The whole starting point was to have a light spot and then gradually get darker, but honestly, I'm not messing anything up. I mean, it's getting considerably brighter, but if you've seen the painting, you know that eventually there's like a light streak and then glare, so I'm figuring it's going to blend in, or it's going to fit in nicely. There we go. There we go. Now my gray gesso is really blended in with the white, so you can barely tell gray gesso is even there. I mean, you can tell gray is there, but it blends in better. This looks like I sneezed paint on it. That looks like I headbutted my canvas. Alright. There we go. So much better. Okay, so now when I do the trees in a second with the spongy thing, you'll be able to see it. Because a second ago you could. This was the only light spot. So, I'm going to pick up my just a sponge and rewind Bob a bit and continue.
Our first major decision. Where here does our tree live? All you do is touch, and as you work down, apply more pressure, and automatically your tree trunk will get larger toward the base. And trees normally look better if they're bigger on the bottom. So, there we go. Something something about like so. So you just put in as many or as few trees as you want in your world. That's all there is to it. So really all there is to it.
I got some trees.
Secrets here. Now I'm going to start going into some of the gray gesso.
Whoa, Bob. Whoa, Bob. Whoa.
Because he's over here.
Don't get too excited. I'm still on my third tree.
Done. The gray gesso will be a little bit brighter. And we can go right into pure white. There. You can see the variation. That's all there is to it.
Bob just went into the gray gesso, but I'm gonna get one more black tree. Also, to make it look larger on the bottom, you just apply more pressure gradually as you go down. I just don't want my trees to look identical, so I'm trying to, there we go. There we go. Okie dokie.
Here. Because he's over here. I thought it would be someone later. The gray gesso will be a little bit brighter.
I'm doing gray gesso now.
Into pure white. There. Colors.
Awesome.
Just doing so seriously to it. They're done. Maybe a couple of white, maybe you can see how they're just full forest here. But that second, just to back. That's really all they want. But just sort of work forth and go back here, wherever here's where we go. Got our maybe this side, we can trees talking and little crawls. Some of the trees aren't have areas that are crooked. Back into them and rain or somewhere. I thought like the light, the lighter basically used to become anyway. First, what we want people to understand what the gray it's painted. We apply a little bit oil color on top of this drag. So then all the mix adjust sense. All of this. Now I've got a little Smix liner brush. It's just our script liner grip.
Okay, let me get into that for a minute. Okay. He's about to get into squeezing liner brush to make some branches, but I'm not quite there yet. My tree looks like a Twizzler that someone took a bite out of it. Let me fix that. I don't know what I did right there. No. No. Decent. Better. Will do. Okay. Actually, I was gonna do some more black gesso, but now I'm gonna do my gray, because as we go further out, there we go. Soy bands. Alright. By the way, just my personal preference, I'm using an actual painter paint liner thing. He's using Bob's using a I can't think of it. He's using a plastic tray. I'm just doing this because it's just a lot more space, and I kept some space available over here so I can wipe my brush off. You don't need to, but I just like to because I can't beat the devil out of the brush, especially with this one, so I can just do what I gotta do over there with it. Alright. See, that just looks so weird. Yeah, that looks way too much like paint to me. That does not look like a tree. Let's fix that just a little bit. Okay. I think we are ready for some branches. Okay, now Bob's about to use the script liner brush, water, and paint thinner And he also stresses in this episode, I thought you couldn't use paintbrushes with gesso, but you can. But the moment you're done, you have to wash it. You have to wash the brush, because if you let it dry, you're done. You have to buy another brush. So I'm going to play it and follow.
And I'm going to add water. I'm going to use water
Wow.
like we normally do paint thinner just to paint the gesso. So it's nice and thin. Then we go in here, and we can decide there's always little baby trees living amongst all these big ones. So we can put
He's in black,
delicate
or
trees,
yeah, he is.
sticks and twigs. If you have enough water, this will just slide right over it. There. And we can begin applying all kinds of little limbs and arms on these trees. Wherever you think they should
If you're anything like me,
exactly where they should be. There we
thin to thick is the hardest part of painting. I can never get this right. So this is like awesome right now. I mean, this is just flowing off the brush.
When you're done with these, some people look at it and they like the black and white gesso version as well as they do the colored version, which you end up with. So this is an excellent way to study value, just black and white. When I was a young pup and went to art school, this is one of the things they had us do to learn to paint. We would take something like temper paints just in black and white, and we had to do entire paintings so we understood value. This is a lot more fun, a lot easier. There we go. And back in here, pretty soon you don't even know where these little limbs and arms they belong to. Don't know that it matters. It's just filler for the background. And they might go to sit here and paint each and every one of these trees. I just want you to see basically how these trees are work. They something like so. You know, so you can cross over just here, and you get to the white trees. You would use white so to make nice arms. Now this will cap. Just start. I'll put a few of them tree here. Because look at his like. Just so see what he looks. Give you there. Don't just make him basically these carrot with all. Don't jump those perfect draped. Your brush arms and come at your sides. And imagine that you so you go. Let's just have nation all you play with. I begin to and there he is. Here's you, but when you'll take shade aeration in by that I mean come together in gray, this side white, and he's where he makes it people become you can shoot at a tree. It's no light you can do anything from. You can actually real yes, things like burns or whatever paint with jet, and then just got a little bar of oil basically or so up of them back and side lays over the top. Okay, easy. We just one or two little white ones so you can see how it's doing.
He's basically
Over here.
doing the brushes.
He's where you're no light will be
Right.
seen.
Okay. Didn't mean to be like right up against the camera. And he's basically just picking branches, but he's not going to spend the whole episode doing it. I'm not going to spend this whole episode doing it, but I do want to make enough branches to make it look like it's a forest. And not like a bunch of broken Twizzlers that are growing legs and running away. So, he also said to use the corresponding gesso. So if it's a gray gesso or a white gesso, to use that gesso and not a black, because it won't make sense and it won't look right. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes doing this. If you're having trouble getting it to stick, I have a cup of water right here with some paint thinner. I mean, not with, it's a cup of water and then my Bob Ross bucket of paint thinner. And I'm just referring to it when I need it to stick to the canvas. His woods look really creepy, and I don't think I'm doing that. I think I'm just making woods, but whatever. No mistakes. But this is really freaking cool, though. And make sure you don't make all your branches straight. That's what I'm trying to keep in mind, because no branch is perfect. There we go. There we go. Make the branches a little thicker too. I didn't think of that. I mean, not all of them, but if they're all that size, it's... There we go. Give them all individual characteristics. Beautiful. But for black, 3 double do the triad hero. Maybe some more right quick. It's kind of get naked. Give it some kind of loose bow. No, black right there. I mean, it went away. Like, it was just black, white, black. So I had to fill it in real quick. White. Okay. Now to the gray gesso. Again, as soon as you're done using the gesso with the script liner brush, make sure you clean it. Otherwise it'll dry and then boom, no brush. Not good. Not too good. And again, if you're having trouble making it stick, just use dip it in water, some paint thinner, and make sure it's running through the gesso and you're not having to drag it. Just don't be too light on the canvas either, because if you're too light, it's just gonna carry whatever gesso's already on there, like the white. And also make sure you're not doing all behind, like branches behind the other tree or branches in front of the other tree. Kind of mix it up so it has some depth to it. Again, we can take the liberty of doing this. Bob couldn't. He had a 30-minute platform, but we can take the time to really get our trees right. Not that he got his trees wrong, but so he can only do so much. We don't have it going this way, but you want to drag it through the white. Let's do these. All I'm doing still is just putting some branches on the white gessoed tree. Again, keep in mind depth. You don't want all your branches to go in the same direction or overlapping or what have you. I mean, if you do, more power to you. This is your painting. You can do what you want with it.
You'll begin to shade areas. By that I mean you'll take a combination of the gray and white and mix it together, and you can shade the side of trees where you know light will be coming from. It's unreal what you can do with this. You can actually paint things like little barns or whatever with gesso, and then just come back and put an oil glaze basically over the top of them. It's that easy. Just do one or two little white ones so you can see how they're done. Over here on this side, so you can just bring little white arms right off the water here.
Ooh.
There we go. Now if you use your good liner brush for this, as soon as you're done, wash it. Well, with good amount of water, because your little liner brush, if you let that rascal, you let that gesso get hard in it, hurt your brush. You don't want you to have to go buy a new brush. There. Take care of your brushes and they'll last for many, many years. Another little thing that's real good. Have some limbs coming from over here where you don't know where they are. They're back over there somewhere. Because the trees didn't just stop right there. Let some limbs come from over here. It doesn't matter from where. But it'll make your painting look more realistic. Some little sticks and twigs. A little bit of gray gesso here and there to make some gray arms. But isn't that neat how you can make a whole forest that easy? And that's all there is to it. As I say, I'm not going to just spend the whole time period that we have here showing you just how to do background trees. And the one that you see in the little opening is one big monster tree. And we can go back to our little foam brush, put some black gesso on it. Let's go back up in here. And I just use the foam brush to do this. Just figure out where he lives and go, Gonna make all those points.
Alright, I had to pause Bob because he's already getting ahead of me, which is why I created the series. Beauty and Darkness. I love Bob, but sometimes he can get ahead of you. Again, I'm just making the branches for the white tree. Well, trees. I'm going to get to that one in a second. It's not necessarily white, but I'm going to get to it. Actually, I don't have a white tree over there, do I? Alright, so I'm going to clean my brush. Make sure it has no gesso in it. These things aren't cheap. I mean, you can get good deals on them, but they're still not cheap. Looks good to me. Alright. Now, let's see here. White, gray, black. Before I continue, I'm not satisfied with that tree. You can tell I started with it. The branches look like angel hair or something. There's no... There we go. There we go. I'm having trouble making it stick, so again, if you're having the same issue, just add water and paint thinner. You can tell I started with this tree, so I'm just trying to make it look more tree-like. And less not tree-like. The branches were really, really thin on this thing. because I'm excited to do the rest of this. There's more to it, especially down here. Down here it gets fun. It gets really fun. I don't know what I did right there, but I like it. Right now I'm just adding some woodlandy looking, I don't know, twigs. Nothing nothing too fancy. I think I've done all the branches I could possibly do. I don't want to get too crazy. So and it helps too, once you think you're done, to really just step back. And since you can't get a fresh pair of eyes on it just yet, just step back and see if you want to add anything else, if you missed something. Alright, I think that'll do it. And it helps if you use a paper towel and you just kind of turn it a bit. Make sure that you have all the gesso out of the brush, the bristles. Yeah, we're good to go. Alright. I think Bob's on the massive tree in the middle. Alright, I rewound it a bit because Bob's about to make a massive tree in the middle.
Spend the whole time period that we have here showing you just how to do backyard trees. And the one that you see in the little opening, there's one big monster tree. And we can go back to our little foam brush. Put
Black
some
gesso.
on it. Let's go back up in here. And I just use the foam brush to do this. Just figure out where he lives and go, It's going to make all those noises. Put a big old tree. He lives right there. I want it to come right across. There. But these little disposable foam brushes work very good for this. There, see, he's got a big arm that lives out here, and one over here, we don't know wherever you want him. If you go back to the liner brush, once again, you can add all the details that you want into your painting. All the details you want. I'm just going to put a few in to show you how they're done. Because when you do yours, you're going to see it totally.
He's doing some branches to the massive tree here, but mine, I added pressure at really, really weird points, so mine looked like an eyebrow. We're going to pluck it. Alright. Oh, that looks way better. I like that. I like that. Alright, so we're going to keep that. I'm going to put this right here and make some.
Different. It's going to be better. It's going to be much better than that was what. Because you'll have unlimited time and patience, and your imagination is probably better. So you'll make beautiful things. And when you're doing these, I'm going to put transparent color over this pretty soon. Try all different color combinations. Transparent and semi-transparent color. Makes beautiful, beautiful things. Now, down here on the bottom,
Nope. No bob. Okay, he's gonna get to the last part of this. We're almost there. If you're painting along with me and you're just kind of putting things up, just make sure you're doing it as you want to do it. I mean, you can copy me, you can copy Bob, just do it the way you want to do it. I wanted to do more of a creepy thing, because the way Bob did it is really creepy. I don't know why, but it is. It looks like something out of Sleepy Hollow. The Johnny Depp version, not the Disney version. Mine, I'm satisfied with mine. Mine just doesn't look creepy, which is totally cool. Totally cool. It still looks good. I almost thought about painting the Sleepy Hollow tree when I was doing this. Like, before I did it, I thought about, hey, just make a gnarly, twisted tree. But what would be the fun in that? It's already been done. Hey, but if you want to do it, you knock yourself right out. I would love to see it. Yeah, because the bottom is the fun part. At least I think it's the fun part. Because instead of all this, it's fun, but instead of all this tedious branch making, I mean, you're just going bum 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 bum. You gotta make those sounds too, otherwise you're not doing it right. But the whole grassy area. Again, this is just day one. Once you're done with this, you're not finished. I mean, you can be finished if you want to sell black and white, just a painting. Go for it. But the finale of it is, I guess finale, is to color it. That's not sticking. Okay, I think we're done. Let's wash the old brush. Make sure that it doesn't have any gesso in the bristles. I have no idea. I'm probably drawing it wrong, but at least there's not gesso in it. Let me see where Bob's at.
When you do yours, you're going to see it totally different. It's going to be better. Much better than this one. Because you'll have unlimited time and patience, and your imagination is probably better. So you'll make beautiful things. And when you're doing these, I want the transparent color of this pretty soon. Try all different. Down here on the bottom, we're going to put some little indications. You can do it with a paper towel. I'll just use this little foam brush. Think where light's coming through. I'm just going to take a little foam brush and just touch. Just touch. You can do it with anything. See there? Just gesso. Just white gesso. I'm going into some gray gesso. But I want the edges to be nice and bright. There, see? Maybe over here on the other side. Just a little bit more of that. Just sort of bring all this together. It's up to you where you want these things to live. Back into the gray so it gets a little duller. Here and there we can even take a little black. Just play these back and forth. So you get all these beautiful variations. There, maybe. Right in there. Whatever. Doesn't matter. brush any way you want to, sideways, straight on, and each way will create new, different effects. More of this gray, maybe right in there, like that. Now maybe I want to put a little path in there. I'm using a little black and a little gray mixed together here. Figure out where your path is, and just take this little foam brush and basically lay it in. See there? That's all. That's all. And just like when we're normally painting, we need to lay that path down in there a little bit. So we're going to push over here on this side. Just like so. There.
Your Bob just added a path, but I'm not going to add that until I'm done with this. Which I'm almost done, so. This is kind of hard to paint with, which is why I'm kind of going over everything twice, because it has like a curve. So if I do it flat, it's it. If I do it like this, it's half the sponge. So I'm just kind of battling the sponge. I didn't use the best one, so that's what I give for cheap sponges. My black and white gessos are running into each other. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Alright, now I'm going to do the path.
Maybe right in there. Whatever. Doesn't matter. You can use the brush any way you want to, sideways, straight on, and each way will create new, different effects. A little more of this gray. Maybe right in there, like that. And maybe I want to put a little path in there. I'm using a little black and a little gray mixed together here. Figure out where your path is. And just take this little foam brush and basically lay it in. See there? That's all. That's all. And just like when we're normally painting, we need to lay that path down in there a little bit. So we put a bush over here on this side. Just like so. Front of it to be darker than up there because it would be closer to the light source. I like it. Okay, I think that'll pretty much show us how to do the little background. As I say,
I just tried to do the pathway real quick because I think he's about done. This will pretty much be it for day 2. If you're anything like me, you've got gesso everywhere, but I guess I'm just messy. All right. I think that about finishes it. So, I mean, if you want to keep going at it, if you don't want a path, you don't have to put a path there. You can keep adding branches. I don't think I'm going to add anything really. I'm going to add my path. I have the, whatever this is going to end up being, the grass, the woodlands. I might clean it up a little bit so there's not so many obvious patches. But, aside from that, this is day 2. I'll shoot day 3 tomorrow, and we'll color it. All right, hey guys, welcome to day 3 of this painting, and welcome back to Beauty and Darkness. Again, same painting as yesterday. This is completely dry, at least it should be. So if you painted with me yesterday, just make sure that it is completely dry, because if it's not, if any of it is wet or not completely dry, as Bob likes to say, you're going to be in agony city. So, yeah, So this was day 2. Now day 3 is basically coloration. I wanted to start from the very beginning of this day with what Bob basically does first. And if you're like me, you tend to overdo this part, and he stresses that in almost every episode that he uses liquid clear in. You can put too much and it'll be a problem for you. There's been paintings where I put too much liquid clear, and I have colors just dripping down. So to start with, yes sir, we are going to put some, and again, make sure your painting is dry when you do this. We're going to put some liquid clear. If you think you put too much, don't fret. Just as Bob likes to say, just get a paper towel. Just dab around where you think you have too much, and the paper towel will take off the excess. It looks like I'm taking a lot. I'm really not. I'm barely dipping the corner, but I'm afraid of taking too much, so I'm just like pinky toeing it. Because again, I have done this before with other paintings, and I put way too much. And the moment you go to blend stuff, you could just see the streaks running down the canvas. And again, you'll be in Agony City. At least I was in Agony City. Because it wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to. While I'm doing this, I'm going to put the colors that you'll need for this painting on the bottom of the screen. It's just 6 colors. I think it's titanium white. And there goes my knee. Titanium white, phthalo blue, Prussian blue, alizarin crimson, sap green, cad yellow, and an Indian yellow, and that's it. I'll show you my palette in just a second. But that's all the paint thinner. Yeah, talk about Agony City. That's all the liquid clear that I'm going to use. And I'm going to get started. Again, I can't beat the devil out of the brush like Bob Ross because of the space that I have. So I have tissue paper, paper towel. I'll get there. And I just make sure that the brush is completely dry. And I'm going to put the top back on my liquid clear. And we're going to begin. Alrighty then. As I was saying, titanium white, phthalo blue, Prussian blue, alizarin crimson, sap green, cad yellow, and Indian yellow. You don't need a lot of colors, and also you don't need a lot of paint. Most of what you've already got, most of what you already have is all that you'll need. So I'm just going to follow Bob, and feel free to paint along. He's putting liquid clear on his right now. I kind of went back so I didn't jump the gun. Phthalo blue.
This painting, very, very little. You can always add more. Let's go here. Start at the top. All we're doing in reality is putting a glaze right over the top of our gesso. Fantastic. This makes some of those gorgeous little paintings. And they're wonderful for friends and family because they're really made and how fast they have. I'm going to take that right down to just the tops. So maybe we're pushing it more back so they right there. Let's take a look at it. This thing's very colorful. This work. Now. Isn't that gorgeous? Now the edges of it, let's take a little Prussian. Prussian blue is much stronger than Phthalo blue.
He's getting the Prussian blue, but before he does that, I think he's got the whole sky.
This makes some of the most gorgeous little things that we make.
Yeah. So he's got all this area blue. So I'm gonna take another minute. You can feel free to make yours as dark blue as you want it, but I want to keep mine light just in case, because he has Prussian blue in a second, and I don't want to get mine too dark because then you're just gonna blend dark blue with dark blue, and you're gonna, I mean, you already have a black canvas, so I don't see the point. I'm already liking this. This is nice. That is nice. Alright.
Start to do. I won't take it, but there's little bushy looking things that we made. There. It really does work. Now. Isn't that gorgeous? Deep blue. Now the edges of it, look at the little Prussian blue. Prussian blue is much stronger than Phthalo blue. It's very, very strong. Take a little Prussian blue
He's going in a Prussian blue.
and just do the corners.
Just the corners.
Just look lighter. You need to make the corners look darker. And you'll accomplish that just like so. Alright. And as far as I'm going with that. Now maybe
Okay. You're just darkening the corners because you're going to have a light source right here, so of course you want that to stand out. But you don't want to go too far with it. I should call this the Blair Witch Woods. I'm not going to, but now with the dark color in there, it kind of, it's starting to get creepy.
let's see here. I've got several brushes going. Right in here. Watch. I will take Indian yellow. Once again.
Okay, he's got silver brushes going. I do not. So I'm going to put my palette down, clean the brush. that blue is still in there, isn't it? Is it still in there? No. Yeah, it is. Yeah, hold on. This blue is like not going away. Because he uses Indian yellow next, and I don't want that mixed in with my blue. Okay, good enough. Okie dokie. Let's party.
Very little paint. Indian yellow is transparent. Let's go up in here. That's the reason I picked the Indian yellow over the other yellows we use. And I'm going to start right in here. And we just cover the whole thing. It doesn't matter. Like so. With Indian yellow. But notice we intentionally let me come down. The reason is because when we touch it now with this yellow, it's going to create a greenish cast. It's not going to be bright green, but it'll give an indication to the eye that there's green there. And if you want it bright green, you can use satin green, which is a very transparent green, or you can just allow more of the blue to come in. Either way. Now, take some alizarin crimson, satin green, mix it together with more of the crimson and sap on it to the red side. Okay, let me wipe off the old knife. And take a little bit of that on a 2-inch brush. And with that, let's start at the base. I want this to be the darkest.
And now he's going to alizarin crimson. I think that's about all the Indian yellow that I want to use. I kind of used some on the blue and created a light green. I didn't want it to just be flat color here, flat color there. You're free to do what you want. I just wanted to make it all blend together. So I'm going to put this down again and wash the brush. Always make sure your brush is dry, because you don't want to get paint thinner on your painting. That would be bad. And here we go. I think he's using alizarin crimson now on the bottom.
So we'll start here and work upward.
Let me just rewind real quick, so I'm not wrong.
And take a little bit of that on a 2-inch brush. And with that, let's start at the base. And crimson, create a greenish cast. It's not going to be bright green, but it'll give the indication to the eye that there's green, a very crimson in the way.
He mixes colors.
We'll take some alizarin crimson, satin green, mix it together. A little more of the crimson and sap. I want it to the reddy side. Okay, let me wipe off the old knife. And take a little bit of that on a 2-inch brush. And with that, let's start at the base. I want this to be the darkest, so we'll start here and work upward.
Okay. He mixed alizarin crimson and sap green, but he used more of the crimson than the green because he wants it more on the red side. I just have a paper towel down there so I can wipe off the knife as I face plant into my painting.
There. So it'll give it a very dark look back in there. And bring it up to wherever you want it to stop. Isn't that gorgeous? And it's so easy. Once again, you've never painted in your whole life. This is one you ought to try. This is one you ought to try. Because you can't make a mistake really. It's so easy. Now some people are very happy and very satisfied with their painting.
he's getting to the really fun part. Again, you can mix these colors in any way that you are comfortable with. I'm just blending them a little bit, just so again there's not flat areas. I'm probably gonna have to clean the brush here again too, because I don't have multiple brushes. Because he's about to use titanium white, and you don't want red in your white on this one. Okie dokie. I like to do this sometimes just to make sure, because I've had many paintings, well not many, but quite a few paintings, where the bristles were coming out as I was just, sometimes just going over with liquid white, and I had to knife the brushes or the bristles off. Not fun, especially when you have to go back and kind of blend out the scrape.
Sometimes you can't hardly even make out the tree trunks. It's so bright. I'm going to take just the corner. There you can see it. See just the corner of the brush.
Just the corner of the brush? As I was dabbing the whole thing.
Figure out where the sun lives up in here. In my world, I think it's right behind this limb here. Start right over the limb. Because once again, to me, when you look at the sun that bright, it's like it just burns right through that tree branch. You can't see it. It's probably something in your eyes. I'll have to get an optometrist to explain all that to me. But this is the way I see it. There. We just go right over it. But look at that sun coming through there now. For a long time I wanted to make effects like this, but I didn't really know how to do it and make it look right. And then when they came out with all the gessos like this, it made it so easy. Now anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. And in your world, you should be able to do anything that you want to do. Alright. You have to decide how bright the sun is and how far it goes out. Totally completely up to you. But look at it, it's so bright it almost hurts the eyes. Sometimes it's fun to make like light rays singing through there. Now, you know, if the whole painting is wet, that's hard to do. Because when you pull it across there, it's going to take you wet paint. But this is dry. The gesso is dry. So we can, let's see here, show you. All you have to do is just decide where it lives. Touch it, and then give it a little pull.
I'm still deciding how bright I want my sun to be. Again, this is just my perspective. Make sure you blend in the white as best you can so it doesn't look like brushes. Because quite a few of my first paintings, as much as I like them and they look good, even the sky, you can tell there's brush strokes. But you want to blend those as best that you can. There's nothing more frustrating than making a really nice painting, and then you see brush strokes, bristles. It just looks messy. Yeah, I want my sun to be a lot. And the whole point of this entire painting is this right here. Everything else is just hue, coloration, and what have you. Darks, lights. But this right here, this is what draws the eye to your painting. So this, to me, has to be the most visually arresting part of it. Which means that people look at it, if they see brushstrokes, they're going to see that. They might not look for it, but they're going to see it. I'm getting like a random straggler over here. Stop it. See, right there. Bristle. Pain in the butt. Alright, how do you do a glare?
Sometimes it's fun to make like light rays zinging through there. Now, you know, if the whole painting is wet, that's hard to do because when you pull it across there, it's going to take the wet paint. But this is dry. It's just a little dry. So we can, let's see here to show you. All you have to do is just decide where it lives. See, touch it and then give it a little pull because you're not going to destroy anything.
Wait, how did you do that?
See the light coming?
I saw it, but...
Decide where it lives. See, touch it and then give it a little pull because you're not going to destroy anything. Isn't that easy? See the light coming out through those trees? See, just wherever. Look at it. That easy. Isn't that exciting? You know, I've painted thousands of paintings, and I'm sorry I get so excited about this, but it amazes me how beautifully this works. There. Wherever you make your decision, but that easy. You can have a painting that's just absolutely unreal. And then it's just a matter of going back and you can add in all kinds of little details that you want. You can put little sticks and twigs, or it's a good time, you know, the little squirrel we've shown in some of the other shows. Good time to paint your little squirrel in here.
Let's see here. I'm trying to blend out. It looks like I gave it 3 legs, so I'm trying to make it look less like a starburst than there we go, then a light source. There we go. So honestly, if you have a light source that's like a sun coming through, you're not just going to have, you know, down. You're going to, I mean, it's a light, so it's going to be almost like a starfish. I'm not even going back on here, I'm just using the paint that's already within the light source. That's cool. That's really cool. Because my brush right over here, like the bristles kind of sprayed out, if you will, the white. And it just looks like more light. Alright. Well, we're almost done here. So I'm going to keep working on this a bit more. Because to me, this is the heart of the entire painting. You don't want to take too much from the... I have to time these things. My recorder only does half an hour at a time, so I have to make sure that I'm not only that I'm talking to a camera that's recording and not one that's just staring at me like an idiot. Alright, so I'm not convinced. Not yet. I made it too light. I took too much away from it to make the rays. Right now I'm just kind of trying to make my light source bright again. I have a light source, it's phenomenal. But I took away all the white, so now it's just a bunch of gray smears. So I'm just trying to go back and clean it up. I'm kind of a perfectionist, so as much as this is a very nice painting, it's something doesn't. I want the light to be perfectly. It looks really, 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 really good. So hopefully, whatever you did on your end, I'd love to see it. You actually, I'd love to see what you did. What you taken up with out. Because at first, that first thing it just scared me a bunch. Because taking it out, it's smearing light and white. It didn't look like at all. Just blended paint. so I had to get it to look really blue. And you don't want like same on every angle. Like I just tried to shine, even it out. You're seeing more of a kind of here. I got a fade. I got way down here. A red. Some faded around on what you call here. I got some random like star shine on just here without the star. The ray does have the lines, if you would. If you ever look into the sun, you see just bright white lines. Somehow I got that on the left here. Looks good. So now, I mean, I think we're just about done here. I mean, that looks like a light source, yeah. Let's see where Bob takes us after he makes his light source.
Anything else that you want? Once again, I want to make this a little greener. I've got a few minutes left here. Let me find my brush that had the blue on it. There we are. We'll add a little more of that blue right here. Show you how you can change this so easy.
That's a good idea.
Now that we can take a little yellow color.
He's adding more green into the vegetation, which makes sense. So right now, I'm just going to clean my brush. I'm going to clean my brush real quick. That way, if there's anything that I want to change, you don't just sit there watching me stare at my canvas. For the most part, I'm really impressed with the light. I didn't think it would turn out. I wanted it to turn out exactly how Bob did it, of course. But I think I got pretty close. Now I'm just going to add some green. Right? I'm going to add some green. Let's see how I think he adds blue to his yellow.
And this will become brighter green. It's up to you. You have to make that decision however you want it. But that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to add some more phthalo blue. To my yellow. Blend that in a part that's good to second the green a bit more. Go. So looks good to go. Go. Where's Bob? Go.
Right. I don't raise back yet. And that's basically all there is to this painting. When you do it, experiment a little. You'll find all kinds of wonderful things that you can do. And I hadn't even thought about yet. Let's take a little bit of red. And I'm going to sign this one.
He's signing it, so he's done. Okay. Alright. Clean my brush one more time. This will be the last time. I really need to get more than one brush. But it works. Okie dokie. I'm like standing in the way of my own light to see what this looks like. I think we're just about there. And I got a bristle on the canvas. Again, you know what? That's cool because it looks like a bit of the... It's like perfectly aligned with the branch. So it almost looks like a silhouette of the branch. See? Things sometimes work out. Alright now. I think we're about done here. I might touch it up here and there, but I don't want to. I don't want to keep messing with this because if I screw it up, if it gets too bright or I just have too many rays, I'm just worried of messing it up. It's fine the way it looks actually, and again that bristle looks like a part of the branch, so that worked out nicely. But if you paint along with me, I would love to see your take on this. Visit nicknoir.com, send me an email, and yeah, aside from that, I think we're done here. So, well, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed painting along, and see you next time.